Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hobby Hotline. We've got a great big show for you today. I'm your pal Val, and we have Jeff,
Good morning.
Logan, Jason,
Morning, guys.
Uncle Rich.
Hey there.
We got a big show, and Tracy hopefully will be able to join us today. I'll keep an eye on the waiting room. Um, Man, what a awesome, I guess, last week, and then this week coming up with Daytona 500, we had the Super Bowl. Um, and I don't know what you guys thought. I guess with
I
Brady
loved it.
winning,
Loved it.
yeah, I bet you had money probably on the game.
Loved it. I had Tom Brady in every one of my single game DFS deals as MVP. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it.
So I don't know about you guys, but I was actually I actually was buying and selling some cards on checking my cards during the game for with Gronk tops rookies. But that's one thing about that that checking my cards marketplace where you can it's pretty interesting.
Well,
Concept,
it's very dynamic. I mean, it's actually even more dynamic than eBay because the process, especially if you're using store credit, is absolutely immediate. You know, if somebody can flip your cards, if you have a card that somebody thinks too cheap, they'll purchase it and put it there on their site immediately. And there's something to be said for the immediate transference. And there's other platforms that are also doing things like that, and that's really something that's really exploded in the last year, where a lot of this has become a much more immediate process than it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, to be able to do that is pretty incredible. If you were at a show, you buy one table or walk over and sell to another dealer or whatever, but to be able to do that with the amount of customers, it's pretty cool concept.
Yeah, it's huge.
I mean, it's not like I made a ton of money, but I think it was like $10.
Hey, $10 is $10. If you could do that every you could do that. You're doing just fine.
Well, I'll just take that $10 and then buy some more NASCAR cards. So
there you go.
But and then one of the other things I figured we'll get some of these other things out of the way before we talk NASCAR. But Top Series 1 dropped, and I think Jeff, you had opened some up.
Yeah, I've opened 2 hobby boxes since it dropped. I'm all right with the design. The names are a little small, and the other thing I do not like is people are going after the Mount Castle cards and whatnot. But why in the world did they put the cup card where they put the cup card on these cards this year? They have it on the left side of the card, right in the middle, like in the middle height wise, on the left, all the way to the left side. Like they could have put it in the opposite corner of the 70th silver deal or the team logo or the rookie card logo, whatever. They have space there. It just makes it look so out of sorts. I love the design besides looking at those cup card cards. And Mount Castle, I think, has a pretty cool image picture for the card. But then he's got a cup card riding on his bicep, basically. It's just weird. It's out of place. But overall, we got 50 rookies in this set this year. We have a ton of rookies, guys. So this is one of those things, kind of like I always tell my people with Bowman and Bowman Draft and Bowman Chrome, take all those rookies, whether they're a name right now or not, at least penny sleeve them up. If nothing else, put them in a box and pull it back out in a year or two, or when you start seeing some guy pop off, and see how many of those you got in there as those cards are shooting up. So one thing I'd recommend.
Hey guys, we have somebody in the lobby here. Let's bring him in.
Hey, Tia.
Hey, Tracy, how are you, sir?
What's up, gentlemen?
The only problem I have with Topps One, and I only bought a jumbo pack and a hobby pack, was the explosion of the price upon contact to the hobby stores.
All right.
I mean, I looked online, and I knew when I went in to my local hobby store 5 minutes from my house, I'm very fortunate that I have 4 within a half hour.
Right.
I laughed and I said, well, I was in a good mood until I saw the prices online. I guess I'll just buy a jumbo pack.
How much were they selling them for?
The approximate hobby price is $150.
So at my LCS, I paid $125 a box.
That's very reasonable. I don't remember the exact price, and to their credit, they even offered to knock a few dollars lower for me on the price. So, I don't have any problems with them paying attention to the market.
Right.
But there's nothing really, valuable. They have one hit in the box.
Right.
We have a former ex-Beckett person there in Tracy, but one thing about Panini with their base products is that if there's a hit, but there's a lot more to it in their standard boxes. And
Right.
Topps has never been as good as, and I'm not saying that because Tracy's here, Topps has never quite been as good as Don Wrestling Playoff or Panini or whatever names it's been over the last 20 years of making you feel good when you open most of the boxes. And at 150, you really don't feel good. At 80, I would have been, well, okay, I can live with it. 150, I said, I can't, not only do I not want to afford this, I'm going to lose. I'm not even going to have a good time.
Right.
So I want to have, at least if I'm going to spend 150, I want to have a really good time doing it.
And you want to know what one of the hits was out of the two? So you either get an auto or a relic, right? In a hobby box, I got a Mr. Joey Votto. Bring out the what was it? The goats he was going to buy for somebody if he made the All-Star game the other year. Yeah. I got a Joey Votto game used relic card, 86 style. That was
nice
the hit of the box. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but yeah.
I mean, he'll probably make the Hall of Fame, but the value isn't that great. But it's a nice card.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
At least you got something there, a player who's going to make the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And this is not Topps' fault. This is the marketplace. And I want to stress this isn't Topps' fault. This isn't anybody's fault but the marketplace.
Right.
But $150 for the flagship product,
I wouldn't pay that.
Release is something that we as a hobby have to understand is probably not the wisest course going forward.
Right.
Hey, I just want to say, shout out to everybody on the comments, Cobra Max and Chris, and then say hey everybody to Rex, Ron at the big screen on the card shop. Hey everybody there. There's a link in the comments if you want to be on the show. Got a couple of Panini prize packs to give away. Courtesy of Tracy, and we got these Color Blast. As you see, Dave Blaney, he's wearing one over back there. Color Blast face mask, and then we got some packs as well to give away. So if you want to come on the show, say hi.
He's getting a lot of emails.
Who's getting emails?
Not me. Getting a ton of emails.
It must be Tracy because he works 24/7.
No,
it's like an AOL. So. It's like an AOL notification. No, I don't have any AOLs.
Maybe it's comments. I don't in the comments, whatever. But
nobody emails me. And anytime I get to share a screen, with the great Rich Klein, I've done something right. I've done something right in my week.
Hashtag winning.
Yes,
you sure did. And hey, it's good to see Jason. I haven't seen you for a couple of years, Jason.
It's been a little while, yeah. For sure.
How's the family?
Everybody's doing well. Two.
You have what? One or two children by now?
I have two, and one is a year and a half. So he keeps us on our feet for sure.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
So I was looking at the comments. Bobby Baseball was talking about it's great to see the borders back in the Topps flagship. And good morning, Texas Card Dude. Hope you're doing well, staying warm. I don't know what the weather is over there by you guys, but
no bueno.
It's cold. Tracy, how much snow are they expecting tomorrow where you are?
It's Snowmageddon is in the forecast. I mean, people are the world. I think is coming to an end. Rich. Anytime we get weather in Dallas, they always call it a weather event. It's never like precipitation or it's a weather event. You go to the grocery stores, the canned goods are sold out, the bottled water is sold out, and then in like 2 days, it's 80 degrees again. But Monday, it's supposed to be like the low of 0. So that's not Texas-like, and so that is a little bit shocking for us.
That's New Jersey or Pittsburgh-like.
Exactly. It's like, whoa. And my dog still wants to go out for walks, and I'm like, bro, like you are killing me.
Well, Kent, do you have a fenced-in yard where you can sort of just let him or her go out?
I do, but that doesn't satisfy him. He's so bored with that. So he looks up at me with those puppy dog eyes and goes, "When are we going to go run 2 miles?" And I'm like, "Bro, like, it's 6 degrees outside." He doesn't care. So I'll probably take him, and he wins.
Such a good daddy you are.
Well, my 2 human sons are old enough now where they don't need me anymore. So had to get a puppy.
We got hey Brody. Brody's in the chat, and 1 million card project. He's in Wisconsin, so he says just another February there. And Scotty Huffman, any clue why they decide to make the name print so small on the Top Series 1?
It's small. Yeah, I don't know. No idea.
You'd have to get somebody from Topps who designed the product to answer that question.
Rich, you don't have that answer?
I don't have that answer.
Rich.
I would contact somebody at Topps.
Well, as I'm getting older, how's the numbering on it?
The numbering's not super bad, but let's put it this way: this is my best friend when I'm doing the Topps one.
Hey, put that thing down.
That's what I need, because the 53 and 58 and 33 and 38, they all look the same to me. So, well, Tracy, I'm so excited to have you on the show. We had Daytona, we had a truck race last night, and the Dunruss 2021 dropped racing. That is an awesome looking product. You guys just knocked it out of the park, and I don't know how you guys kept the 5th anniversary buybacks a secret. That was
it was, a lot of these things, one of the ways they keep them secret is they don't tell us in marketing, so we can't promote it. And then it comes out and we're like, oh, that's really cool. We didn't know anything about that. And sure enough, they did that with this. Our racing team, Tim, and our design team, they do a really good job with that NASCAR product. And Dahmers, they have so much to work with in terms of nostalgia and throwback elements, and other sports, things that have become popular in other sports kind of get transitioned over to racing as well. And so I'm excited about it. It looks great, very colorful. It's that perfect beginning product to start a season, I think.
Yeah, it's that throwback to the 88 Dunruss.
Yeah.
And the buybacks, they're all signed on card and embossed with that 5th anniversary logo on it. Me and Jason talked about it on the show this week. It's just really nice, and the price has actually been kind of holding. I think they came out around $72. They're about $80 a box, I think, right now. But
that's great in this marketplace too. I mean,
when we were talking about with Topps and the flagship, how they've escalated quickly. Of course, I don't want to say that too loud and everybody jack up the prices, but it's that fine line, right, Logan?
Yeah, it is. I went to go buy some. What day did they drop? Was it Tuesday or whatever?
It was Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I got busy at work and forgot about it until later on in the afternoon. And by that time, I couldn't buy any, so I had to go to like Steel City and buy some from those guys. And it was like $80 a box, I think, or something.
That's good. Yeah, it's it trickles down. The crazy market environment really. I mean, it spreads to all products from all manufacturers to all sports. It's pretty incredible how that works, but it is nice to see that price kind of holding, because I think it does make it available to more people for a longer amount of time.
Tracy, I don't know if you know the answer to this or not, but when do the blasters and fat packs hit in retail?
So typically, with most of our products, hobby will hit first. There are some products where some retail will hit first, depending on how we get time on the production line and when things are shipping. But typically, hobby will come out, and then retail SKUs will start hitting about 10 days to 2 weeks after that. And then it used to be more of an issue before the market exploded, but the retail stuff would go to the distributor and then to the stores, and it would stay in the back for a long time. And depending on which individual was merchandising which store, sometimes it got out as quickly as it got there. Sometimes it took 2 more weeks. But now the trading cards are so hot, and that section is so hot, that as soon as they get any kind of product, it's usually on the shelf. So that's my long-winded way of saying 10 days to 2 weeks after hobby.
Okay, so here in another week or two, we should be able to see that in the stores. And then, so let's see, Kevin Jones is saying the current market, he's saying it reminds me of a swarm of locusts that is sent and consume everything in sight. Yeah, if you've been there,
Exactly.
you go to the card section and there's nothing there except maybe like a bag of chips. That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
all.
right? They swapped it out. I'll take this blaster instead of these bag of chips, or this hanger pack instead of the chips. We're not eating today. We're getting
No, you can eat later, man. You can
Yeah.
eat later.
Yeah.
Hey, Tracy,
then,
wanted to ask, with last year's blasters, there was the Rapid Redemption Program. Is there anything like that for 21? For the retail?
Not on this early stuff. I haven't heard much from in that regard about retail products to come or hobby for that matter. But I would hope that we would continue something like that because it seemed to be really well received. And the great thing I like about at least that particular promotion was that there was no like deadline on it. So we would get queries 6, 8, 10, 12 months after release and people would ask if it was still alive. And as long as we had the packs, we absolutely would accept them and redeem them. So I hope we do that again, but I haven't heard if we are going to do that.
Gotcha.
So I can't remember if there was a red. So last year it was the red Mojo Optic cards, and I don't remember. Is there a red Optic in this current release?
I don't. Well, I haven't seen one.
Because I think Jason, I don't know if you remember offhand. We went through the checklist. My brain is full.
Yeah, I
kinds
don't
of stuff,
recall
so-
a red.
So it
Yeah,
maybe you guys could keep that red Mojo going.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
Val?
I like that. Hey, look,
Hey,
if you're not
Val?
going to tell us,
Yes, sir.
Oh, go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
No,
Chris.
you're fine. You're fine. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just noticing this Jamie Preduix in the chat. He's asked it more than once, so I figured maybe you could ask it off or whatever, and we could see what we could do for an answer for him. His son's got a question. You see it in the chat?
I don't.
Jamie
Yeah, it's
Preduix,
basically
Facebook. Okay. He just basically, I'll just say it then. Just here in the, or he's asking where he could ask a question. We see it. I've seen it more than once. So he says, "Do you think the raised box prices will affect the prices of base rookie cards?" Basically, his son had that question. The raised price. So the raised price of boxes, the way that when you go buy them, or even like we talked about the Series 1, right? How they're Rich said 150 in his card store. They're normally under $100 used to be, whatever. Do we feel that's affecting or will affect the prices of base rookie cards?
I mean, anecdotally, Rich is the price guide analyst, but I would.
Come on, Rich. We need
My
you on
sense
this
would
one.
be that it
Are you
would,
doing
that it
something
would.
else over there?
I'm
We
I was
catch it up
actually
in time,
formulating-
Rich.
I'm
He's pricing
formulating
rookies,
an
right?
answer. And one of the things is how many Series 1 of each card exists, because it's always market driven. If you have a lesser quantity to indicate that the box price explosion makes sense for the value per cards in the pack, then yes. But I thought I'd read online where somebody had done the math and there were 750,000 copies, not counting what's going to show up in factory sets or other things, of each Series 1 card printed. That's a lot of cards. But if the demand says, hey, 800,000 of them need to be sold, that price is going to go up. If you print, and it was this line I used to use when people would say, how can you have such a low price on a print run of 50? Because if only 30 people want the card, then the print run of 50 is too much. It's going to depend on the player, the print run, the demand. There's a lot of factors. Probably it means that a quarter card might be 50 cents or a 50-cent card might be $1, but there's always going to be some maximum that it can't, but higher to, unless Mount Cancel ends up being a Mike Trout generational player. If it is, then the fact that everything costs more will raise the price of the card beyond which. But your average rookie who's 26 years old, let's say you have a 26-year-old rookie, it'll be in the dealer's dime boxes within 3 months.
Rich, you came through for us. Now carry on.
Good job, Rich.
Tracy, there's a comment from Bobby Baseball. Do you know if Panini is actually is trying to look at the Major League license, trying to get that back? Didn't Topps they have that locked up though, right? I don't think even you guys have
Isn't it like a certain amount of years or something? Maybe I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
I don't know the specifics. It might be through like 2075 or something. I don't know, but
Wow.
I think
no,
it's
I'm kidding.
2025.
But he's got the 5 right. It's 20. The last contract is 2025.
2025. So
yeah, so nothing's going to happen at least until that.
Unless,
that's something
unless
obviously
something happens to Topps as a corporation.
Right.
No, Panini's got they've got their Players Association license, and that's what you've got, correct?
yes, absolutely. And we try to make the most of that. And we're seeing the same kind of demand for those MLBPA products. Our teams have always done a good job of kind of maximizing that MLBPA no logos thing. And I think the first few years we had it, they were kind of learning how to optimize what we did have and not really worry about what we didn't have. And I think they've kind of perfected that mix, and we see that the popularity of the entire market is impacting those products as well.
By the way, speaking of licenses, and this is a huge topic, I don't think we've covered it on the show. While we have Tracy on, we should ask them about the MMA license you all recently just got.
Ooh. Nice.
Yeah, UFC.
That's huge.
I mean, I get excited a lot at work just because it's such a fun place and I'm exposed to a bunch of cool things that I never thought I would be. But the UFC license is huge. I'm a huge UFC guy.
Yeah.
Depending on the season and the fight card, it's a 1A and 1B with the NFL for me in terms of my favorites as a fan. And I'm really excited about it. And the first product's Prism, which should be bonkers. And that, I think the early April release window is still intact for that initial release. But yeah, it was one that blew me away. I was excited. I didn't really think that we would get it, and then we got it, and so I'm really excited about that, Rich.
Awesome.
And starting with Prism, wow.
Yeah, so starting out, I think we're doing 4 products the first product year, and Prism. I think it makes sense to start with Prism just because of how kind of popular it is across all sports. And I think it's a great way for us to launch UFC because it's such an impactful design and the parallels. And they've been great to work with so far. We're on a weekly marketing call with them on the marketing side with the UFC team, and they're buttoned up and
Awesome.
and I'm excited.
That's pretty cool. Tracy, one thing we were talking about licensing that made me think of, I haven't heard about like with the licensing with NASCAR. Is that a particular time limit, or is that just the thing
Yes.
who's printing them?
I assume it is. I think we recently renewed
Okay.
with them, so I think we have it for the foreseeable future. NASCAR is a product where, again, it's when we launched it, it was kind of a weird marketplace because it had been away for long enough for people to start questioning whether there were ever going to be NASCAR cards again. And we jumped in, put our best foot forward, and then we kind of started tweaking our mix. And NASCAR, I think, kind of value and look and feel and variety of products, I think, is we do that as well as we do any other sport. I think it really sings from things like Prime and National Treasures and Prism to the flagship Donruss. I've been really impressed with what we're delivering to the marketplace, and we've really ramped up our marketing efforts promoting NASCAR trading cards over the last really 2 years intensely, and I think you'll see that continue. As you saw this week, we had the Zoom calls as Logan and Val know our Zoom calls to kind of launch the 2021 season with Cole Custer and with Gray Galding. And we had a Zoom meet and greet with the Daytona VIP sweepstakes winner from this last year. He got a chance to do a Zoom meet and greet with Joey Logano on Thursday, and then he'll meet him obviously this weekend. So, I think we have it. I think we're happy with it, and I think we're going to continue pushing the envelope with it.
Yeah, I think you guys do an amazing job with the NASCAR license. Sponsoring Cole Custer and Greg Alding, and actually sponsoring the car. So it's pretty cool that you can get Panini sheet metal and Panini fire suit patches out of the Panini product. So I don't know of any other sport you guys are doing that, and you guys, your marketing team have definitely stepped it up to have some of that access. So.
Well, it's funny, Val, that you should mention Panini sheet metal because you were nice enough to find a fender wall or something piece of gray sheet metal and send it to me. And Scotty and Jason want to frame that up in the office. And I'm like, no, I'm taking that home because it's just so cool. And you're right. Gray Galding's been a great partner. I love that kid. He's everything you want to be associated with. I think his star hopefully continues to rise on the track. But the fact that we have a Panini NASCAR ride and we've been able to put Donruss football with Patrick Mahomes on that car at one point is just cool. And it's something that I think maybe we never thought we would see when this thing first started.
Tracy, what's cooler, the sheet metal or the tire we used to have at the Beckett office?
Well, Rich, I can still smell that tire.
Yes, that was horrible.
I mean, it singed my nose hairs. And I hope I didn't have a lot, but if I ever needed to cleanse those out, I just go sniff that tire next to Dan's office, and they were gone, baby.
Were you part of the group that brought the tire back, or
no?
Okay.
No. Who was that? Eddie Kelly and Dan Hitt and a few other people, right? Yeah, Pepper was there. Theo too, I think.
Yes.
That's a great topic to bring up, though, Rich. Is like whenever you open a pack of Donruss or other NASCAR cards, you can smell the tire cards, and it's pretty awesome, I think, because that's something that, and as a collector first, I always like touch the swatches or kind of feel them or smell things, and you can really, I smell my tire cards, and it's pretty awesome that some of them smell like kind of burnt and charred, and that's cool, I think.
Do you ever get one that smells like victory?
Well,
those are the Jimmy Johnson ones. Yeah, it's I do the same thing. I'll get a piece of tire or have like the little nub or patch where the seams are, or sheet metal. I do that as well. So it's pretty cool.
That's what we do, man. That's what we do.
Yeah,
we're collectors at heart, man. That's what got us into this thing.
So yeah, I'm still trying to get a Panini hood. I don't know. I think I'm fighting you guys for it. So I'm trying to think if I've ever. Where do you go? Like, is there like one or two like certain auction sites you'd go to find that stuff, or do the drivers kind of do a lot of their own auction stuff? You probably have to go through the shop. Okay. Sometimes they'll put it to auction, but with Gray's team, he takes very good care of that car. So sheet metal is
hard to come by. Yeah,
those lower level funded teams, it's kind of like the old days, and Logan can agree with this, is that they drove the car to the track. So if they crashed it, they were hitchhiking home. And I think Richard Petty talks about that one time where Lee Petty crashed the car and they had to hitchhike home.
Well, I think one of the most amazing things about NASCAR is the original use of those cards was for moonshining.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean that's one of the great stories. Is these cars were designed to.
What was that, Jeff?
The getaway cars?
Yes.
Well, no, actually shuttling so where Chase Elliott, Bill Elliott's from, is Dawsonville, Georgia. That's about an hour north of Atlanta. So they would run moonshine from Dawsonville down into Atlanta. And Logan, what's his name? The money guy, the first car owner with
Raymond Parks.
Yeah, Raymond Parks. When he was a kid, they'd run one or two loads down and on Friday or whatever. And so the guys were down in town with nothing to do. And so they had all these cars set up for the mountain roads and stuff, and they would race on the weekend and then head back. But Raymond Parks tells some stories, or he did tell some stories where they'd come down to the mountains and they'd have places where they would wash their tires off, or they so that the cops or the revenuers, as they were called, looking for these muddy tires and people running moonshine.
Huh.
Hey, Logan, if you don't mind me asking you a question, you were on the Cole Custer Zoom with us this week, and he talked about your Dale Earnhardt Sr. Fire suit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was race used, right? Like,
yeah, it's race used from 1998.
From 1998, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Is that like the centerpiece of your collection? And how do you acquire something like that? And the final question, I don't want to get too specific, but what is the rough value of that thing?
Well, I acquired this from some friends of mine, Wayne and Debbie Keith. They actually live not too far from Richard Childress's shop. And the way he got started collecting is back during the Days of Thunder times when they were making that movie, and he ended up buying out all of the Days of Thunder inventory, like all the suits, all the everything. So that's how he got started, and he became friends with Richard Childress and all those guys, and he was able to get this suit. And I bought it from him. I bought it literally right before Dale Earnhardt passed away. I think I spent about $7,000 on it at the time, which was a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But now I probably wouldn't take less than, say, $30,000 for it.
Yeah. I was going to say that's incredible, dude. That's like,
yeah, it's the centerpiece, no doubt. It's my best item in my collection. I have a lot of.
Show us that picture you showed us pre-show of the inside of Earnhardt's. You showed
hold on,
Val.
it's on my iPad.
Now that we're on the Dale Senior thing.
Yeah, well, when Logan and Cole were talking about that fire suit on whatever day that was, Wednesday, and you could tell, like when Logan told Cole it was like worn by Senior, Cole, it took him by surprise. Like he didn't really know what to say for a minute. Like, holy crap! And so I think it still didn't fully resonate with him.
Yeah, it's got some little stains and things on it. Let me see if I can find. You may be able to see something on here. I don't know. It's kind of hard to see, but it's got some stains on it from the race and things. You can see where it's been. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't think we could tell it on camera.
So you fellow hobby experts, what is that? What is that the equivalent of in other sports? Is that Babe Ruth's full uniform? Is that, what do y'all think?
I guess probably, and you're not going to probably find or see that anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Are you going to see a Babe Ruth? Maybe a jersey, a Jordan signed jersey or something, or a LeBron signed jersey or something. You're not going to probably find a full uniform of any other player in any other sport. So yeah, it's very unique. Very unique.
Especially if it gets photo matched to a certain race or something, and then I've victory, then it goes up even more, and all that stuff that maybe hasn't been figured out. And when he said 30,000, I kind of thought that was low, considering the legacy and the short life and all of that. So
that's crazy, dude.
Show us that pic quick.
Oh yeah, this is the picture of the steering wheel. It's kind of gruesome.
We're coming up on 20 years since the passing of.
Is that
That's the actual steering wheel when
he hit the steering wheel.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, you can see the blood over there on the one side. It's kind of it's not pretty.
We are now entering Hobby Hotline after hours at 10 a.m.
No, that's left for Jared. That's left for Jeremy and the after hours on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Logan's been collecting NASCAR a long time, and he's had some of his artifacts, I guess, in the NASCAR Hall of Fame as well. So he's got quite a collection.
Yeah, I started collecting NASCAR in '86, and during that time, it was basically just the little diecast cars and things like that of like Bobby Allison and Kyle Petty. They had some diecast cars, and then in '88 is when they finally came out with the Max cards, and that's when it really exploded.
It's impressive for sure.
Yeah, before that, I collected baseball. Believe it or not, I started collecting baseball cards in 1970. And in 1980, gosh, when was it? 84, I sold the bulk of my collection to put a substantial down payment on my house. If I still had those cards now, I keep thinking about it. I could retire.
Don't do it. Don't think about it.
On the other hand, look, is your house?
It drives me crazy to think about it.
Logan, is your house worth more money now than it was in 1984?
Yes.
Okay, so in your case, the trade-off's a pretty good one.
Well,
yeah, I guess so.
I just saw that the housing have increased like 15% here in the last few months. So
that's a good trade-off, Logan.
Yeah, I guess so.
That one's a good one.
I still wish I had my 52 mantle.
Yeah,
I know the guy who's got it. He's a policeman here in town. He bought it from me. Yeah, so I know the guy who still got it.
Tell him that if he ever wants it, tell him this is probably the best time to sell it. Sell whatever he bought from you, and then he can cash in for him and his following generations.
He can. It wasn't graded, of course, but if I would have put a grade on it, it probably would have been anywhere between a 5 and a 6, more than likely.
That's mid 5 figures, if not more, right now. So I mean, you're not exactly talking to keep. I mean, let's put it this way: you're talking enough with the rest of what you probably sold at that time. He could probably take care of a lot of his future generations, or at least give them a good start to the rest of his life.
Oh, yeah.
Not that he's trying to rub it in, Logan, or anything.
Yeah, thanks, Rick.
No, we don't rub it in.
Yeah. Rich, it's fine. It's fine. And then, well. So, Tracy, one thing I have to ask is the Panini Instant. Do you know if there's any plans to produce Panini Instant for NASCAR this year? You guys had done it in 2016 and 17.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. That David Sharp, that Panini Instant product line has expanded so much. Excuse me, I get choked up just talking about it. But that his product line has expanded so much. I would like to see it return because I think those types of things are perfect for Instant. I know his bandwidth is kind of packed, and I think he's gonna do some UFC Instant when that starts. And so I don't know that we have firm plans to do it, but I think he is keeping his options open in terms of doing it kind of situationally or as it makes sense. But I'm with you. I would like to see that be part of our product line for sure.
So here's a tough question. So it sounds like you only have like either one person or a few people doing the Panini Instant. So how does Panini look at it when we need to add more resources? Because I know like Topps now, they're just doing so much on demand. It seems like they are overwhelmed because one of the things I do is like look at the hockey packs, and they go. I know I'm derailing here, but like on Thursday, you have a new pack, and they don't even list the players until after they've been sold and closed out. And it just seems like they are overwhelmed. So I guess, with Panini, I know you guys are doing a lot of Panini Instant as well, but how it's always tough to like add more resources and try to grow a product. But I think with the Panini Instant for NASCAR, I mean, guys getting their first win in 2017, Ryan Blaney's first win, Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s first win, Austin Dillon's first win. So, those are cards that those collectors could get, but, when some of these other guys, Christopher Bell or some of these other rookies get their first wins, to be able to get their cards.
Yeah, I don't know firsthand. I know David Sharp, who's kind of, and when I say David, he's kind of the point guy. He's like the product development guy for Instant. I mean, he's got teams of designers working with him, like our normal products. So he's not. I don't think it's a staffing issue. I think just not knowing, but I'm assuming initial response to a lot of the NASCAR Instant wasn't worth continuing it forward. Not that will always be the case, because if it resonates with enough people, we're going to do it, because that's the beauty of the Instant program, right? The Instant Design is that it's quick hitting. But I can say the only time I think we've ever sold a card that we didn't know who the name was is if we're doing like the draft futures on draft day. We'll sell a card for pick number 1, not knowing who pick number 1 is. I don't think we've ever sold anything else that didn't have a name to it.
But
the black card.
I remember the draft CeeDee Lamb. You had a card of CeeDee Lamb literally the moment he was drafted by the Cowboys. I mean, literally, because I was following David's. I follow David on Facebook. I follow most of y'all on Facebook, and he was getting congratulated in real time by your teammates for getting the card public. Literally on the draft. Telecast.
Yeah, we do that in real time, and we're building those things. A lot of times, depending on the year, like when the draft is actually taking place and the players are walking across the stage, we usually have to wait 10, 15 minutes for a photo to become available of that moment. But when it's done kind of in these COVID times and it's all virtual and remote, we can actually build the card in advance, and then as soon as that player is drafted, we can put the team name in. And we had to do that with the NBA draft this year as well. And I actually prefer that version because it's quicker, and I'm building a lot of those cards like on the front end. But I much prefer them crossing the stage, holding the jersey up, because that's the moment, and the fact that we can have a card made of that moment within minutes really is pretty cool.
Tracy, you bring up an interesting point. And as a marketing guy, I'm curious how you get to handle this. You don't have, the last couple of years now, there's been no NFL rookie, whatever you call it, rookie review, rookie parade.
Rookie premiere?
Rookie premiere,
thank you. There was no NBA rookie premiere for two seasons now. So you're not getting the face-to-face autographs you were getting a couple of years ago. And just so you know, some of the stories about the people who work it, they'll tell you it's not all fun and games. They get woken up at 2:00 in the morning to witness some of these autographs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's not as much fun and games as you'd like to think it is. It's hard work, but you're not getting the rookie, draft jerseys. You're not getting the signatures. How successful y'all are getting material and autographs to put into the products, and has that affected you, in terms of how you're trying to publicize what the products are doing?
That's a great question, Rich. I think hats off to our design teams, our photo teams, and our acquisitions teams, because the ways in which we've had to acquire these valuable assets, autographs, memorabilia, the ways have changed over the last 12 months, obviously for obvious reasons. But the need to acquire them hasn't changed. We still have to get those items, autographs, memorabilia, and we've managed to do that. And I think there's been hiccups, and it's been way more difficult than any of us ever anticipated it would be on that side of it. But we've done it. We've managed to get this far through things. Hopefully the NFLPA rookie premiere, the NBA rookie photo shoots, hopefully those return in May and August respectively. Don't know if they will, but those are such huge events, Rich, as you mentioned, for us too. Not just acquire autographs, not just acquire memorabilia, but to enrich our relationships with the athletes who we work with from before they're drafted to long after they retire in many cases. And that event is a great opportunity for the players to get to know us kind of on a company level, on a personal level. And so we missed that part of it. And then on the marketing side, Rich, you bring up a good point because those events also, when you have 35 to 40 of the top rookies from the sports in your clutches for 3 days, that's one of the ways that we would capture a lot of our marketing content, video content, interviews, commercial content. And we didn't have that with NASCAR this year either because they did media days differently this year. So that puts us kind of behind the 8 ball and really stretches our creative capabilities to see what we can do to come up with. And thank God for Zoom. I mean, Zoom has changed the way maybe things are done forever, at least in some cases, because Val and Logan can attest, and this show is a testament to what Zoom and Zoom type platforms have meant for all industries in the pandemic. And the fact that you can hop on a call with Cole Custer or Greg Alding or Joey Logano and have interactions and ask your questions is really cool. And I don't think that's ever going away, even when the pandemic goes away. So it's not all negative, right? It's forced us to change how we do some things. The Photoshop work that our creative teams have had to do, literally around the clock, 3 shifts, because that's one of the biggest parts of any of those shoots is the thousands of photos of each player that we acquire for trading card products throughout the year and future years. And without that might be the biggest pain point for our company was recreating photographs that we couldn't take.
So Tracy, I want to ask a question, and it might be a little troublesome to answer because there was something that happened last year, but with Jordan coming in as an owner and the team, the new car with Hamlin, does that open any sort of window for him in a racing product? Because this is something we've never seen before.
I would, just knowing what I know of that, that very subject, that word, I would say no. But I don't know. Look, we've done some things at Panini in the 10 years I've been there that I have been blown away by. I'm never going to say never. We're never going to say never. If opportunities present themselves, certainly it'd be foolish of us not to take advantage or at least explore those. But we can't even say that word in our building. So
yeah,
wow.
It's just
and I'm only being a little facetious when I say that.
It's just that thing of with such a star power person coming over to a sport that I'm sure nobody thought of, that was going to happen. And I know his contract is probably such a stranglehold on what he can do. And, everybody knows that because there's only one Jordan. It's not like we're talking about, somebody that's been in NBA for 2 years and all of a sudden became a race owner. So it's a different situation. And I was just curious I'm sure as soon as it happened, I'm sure, eyeballs and eyebrows went up everywhere. So, but I had to ask since you had to catch you in person. So,
no, absolutely. That's a great question, and probably not one that or one that maybe people above my pay grade haven't already started tackling, right?
I mean, it'd be interesting. So, like, say you guys did Panini Instant, and Bubba Wallace wins, and Jordan's in victory lane there with Bubba. You have to
Photoshop him out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have to just Photoshop him out? I mean,
or how about a redemption for a Jumpman hood or something?
Oh, definitely.
That would be nice. Val, I want you to give me that hood.
A Jumpman.
So, and Tracy, I don't know if you can talk about it or not, but I don't know even if you guys have it planned yet about or can release the different products for NASCAR this year. If you guys are going to do a Chronicles, Prism, and National Treasures, or
yeah, Chronicles definitely is coming. I love Chronicle, man. I love what we've done with Chronicles. When that product first started, it was kind of and I'm not just talking NASCAR. I'm talking when we first released the Chronicles brand. Quite frankly, I didn't know what I was looking at. It was crazy, and it was on the baseball side, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I loved the first year of it. I loved it.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't like the base cards, but I love. I mean, that thing was packed. What year was it again?
That was
had
probably
a bunch of great rookies.
2016.
Yeah, 60s. It had great rookies in it. It was loaded. You could get.
I just didn't know what it was. I didn't know what I was looking at, and then they took a look at it. They explored kind of what worked with it and what didn't. And now it's such a great testing ground for new concepts. I mean, not just the Spectras and Valor and you name it, right? All these things that are little pieces of Chronicles, but man, and the variety that you get of one player. I really like what we've done with it. I'm glad that you liked that initial release.
Yeah, I didn't hate it, but
I didn't hate
all of the different, like the the hits and it was awesome. I thought.
Yeah.
Great year to do it too.
Yeah, and so I think so. Anyway, Val, again, I'm pretty long-winded. I apologize. That's my long-winded way of saying I know Chronicles is coming, and we have a big announcement. I do know about one announcement in Chronicles. I can't say anything right now, but stay tuned. Chronicles, NASCAR, just put your thinking caps on. Think about what that could be. National Treasures, I would say absolutely. I hope we do Prime again. Prime is one of my favorite products across all sports. I love what we do with that in NASCAR. NASCAR is such a fun product to break and to look at and to gawk over because of the patches and the materials and the closeness that you can get with the drivers too is pretty cool.
This past year was probably, I think, the best year for NASCAR trading cards ever. Every product that I busted was great. I did Chronicles, and I got a sick 1-on-1 Bubba Wallace patch out of that, and it was my favorite. That and National Treasures were my two favorite products last year. I just love those things to death.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear you say that, man, because those you never like when we first launched into NASCAR. Like we knew the NBA market, we knew the NFL market, we knew the baseball market, but we didn't really know the NASCAR market. Obviously, we had people on staff, Tim Trout and guys like him who knew that market from their days at Beckett. But it's just tough to launch into something and not knowing if you have that footing. And so to see some of our products resonate with NASCAR, hardcore NASCAR collectors has been like you and Val for sure and others has been very rewarding for our teams. I can tell you that.
Yeah. The good thing about NASCAR is NASCAR has the best, I think, out of anything, the best patches and swatches and memorabilia than any other sport. I mean,
I agree.
By far.
100%. And you won't find more beautiful patch cards than you find in that's one of the things I love about Prime so much is that you can get those full like sponsor logos. I've got somewhere on my desk at work, there's a I can't remember, I think it's Harvick, but it's like a booklet card and you've got the full like social media logos from their fire suit with Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And it's like, as a guy whose job primarily is Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, that card to me is one of the coolest cards I've ever seen. And it's a NASCAR card. And before we had NASCAR, if you would have had me saying that's one of the coolest cards I've ever seen, I would have said, I bet all of my collection, Logan's 1984 baseball collection, against me ever saying something like that. And I lost.
Yeah, the patches are incredible. Go, Jason.
With Prime, that's one of the things that Val and I talk about all the time is that price point gets you a taste of National Treasures, but also keeps you in that Dawn Russ range. And to me, I think that's one product that you should always keep around because it is that middle ground. Because I'm never going to buy a box of National Treasures, but I'll buy maybe 10 of Dawn Russ, and then I'll start to sample that Prime, and that price point is just so great for what you can get out of it.
Yeah, that's a great point. It really is. I'm glad to hear you say that too, because look, we understand like not everything we make it's not intended for every collector, but you can get some things in Prime that you can't get in National Treasures too, but you can do it at a lower SRP or a lower price point. So that's a great point.
So Tracy, what have you heard, or is there any talks with Teresa Earnhardt and trying to get Earnhardt in these products?
That's a good question too. I don't know. I know we work with Dale Jr. on a lot of things for our products, so I know that relationship is open, but I don't know what discussions have been about Senior. Other than I always ask that too, because that's one of the things is kind of an outside NASCAR guy, right? NASCAR outsider. I know what he means to the sport and what he means to collectors, and I know that we don't have him, so I always ask that. It's kind of be a pain in the butt to Tim Trout, but so I don't know, but I would assume that look, our teams. I'm consistently blown away by our team's willingness to continue raising the bar, even if a lot of the naysayers will say, "Oh, they have an exclusive; they don't care." That couldn't be further from the truth. Our teams still want to try to do things that we need to do to keep pushing the bar and elevating ourselves and elevating our products and to appease and to please collectors. And so I never say never with our guys, because I know they're always trying to do new things. So I don't know the answer to your specific question, but it's one that I think about often, and one that I know our team will explore every avenue they can to get something like that done.
Tracy, when we're talking about people who y'all would like to have for NASCAR, and I'm not as familiar as Logan and Val are, obviously, but I'm thinking of like this is Black History Month, and Wendell Scott and the role he played. He was the only person of color driving for many years on NASCAR, and other legendary NASCAR things. Some you may or may not have, such as the infamous fight at the end of the Daytona 500. That'd actually be kind of a cool photo to have. I mean, I don't know whether NASCAR would let you show the card, but I mean, it's such an infamous fight that almost like a NASCAR little history set. Before some of these people are no longer with us, but before a lot of these people pass on, to have maybe a box NASCAR history set. Of course, I'm saying this, and I know Trout's the guy to talk to, but something like that, I think might be really cool to get it done, and you might be able to get the autographs of these people cheaper than the current NASCAR people, and you'd have, to me, it's a win-win. You'd be able to get the history of NASCAR from the people who lived it, signatures or relics that are tough for them to get or think about getting, and move that into one of the sets too, so while they're still living. I once spouted about I'd love to see Panini do a Super Bowl retrospective set, because there's a whole bunch of guys who started games, and probably even some of your Broncos that really aren't on any cards from that era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and getting them onto a card and signatures while they're still living, and they probably sign for $1 or $2. The football would probably be $1 or $2 per signature, and they'd be thrilled with the extra money in their pocket. I'm sure these NASCAR legends would be thrilled with some of the extra money in their pocket.
No doubt.
Have you all ever considered something like that?
I mean, that's a great question. I know our football team does a great job, and our basketball team too. Like, basketball's not there. There doesn't seem to be as many players that have never had autographs, because it's smaller rosters and things like that. But on the football side, Rob and Wes and Tom and those guys do a great job of going back and getting guys like, I'm trying to think of a guy that pops out of my mind, like Wayne Crabret, right? As a Hofstra guy.
Well,
right?
I'm sure he had signatures, but like your Bronco Ed McCaffrey.
Right. Yeah. But, I mean, when's the last time Wayne has signed before, back when he played?
And I'm sure Ed signed too. But the point is, you had, these are guys from the 90s, the generation that's coming back to collecting.
Yes, exactly right.
And these are the guys you want to get in. I know I'm trying to go further back with some of these guys, but I'm sure there are some Broncos from the '90s that you know. I know that's your team, so I'm fixating on that. But I guarantee you, there are some guys other than Elway and Terrell Davis and Steve Atwater that might be thrilled to get $1,000 to sign 500 stickers to put into a set that these people would remember from watching the Super Bowls in the 90s.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you one of the first things I did when Rob Springs came back was I begged him, I pleaded with him to please get Vance Johnson autographs back in because he was my all-time favorite Bronco, and Rob got it done. And so it's a perfect example of a guy that has a cult-like following among those hardcore fans who watch those teams play, who are collectors, who don't have a new Vance Johnson card to collect. And that's just one example. Rob's team does a great job of that. But we've gone to basketball when they said,
and I'm going to throw out something, and I'm very serious because I just read about this. It's a very sad thing, and this is really from my generation. But there's a lot of the old ABA players who are really destitute, and there's an organization called Dropping Dimes that led by Bob Costas, he's their spokesperson, who's trying to make sure they get NBA pensions before they all pass. You know, because basically it's $2 million, which is like a 12th man salary, would pay for what they need.
Yeah.
And it would be kind of cool that while they're still living to get them to sign stuff on, ABA, and I don't know what the licensing is, so you might have to really do what they did Tops in the 70s and turn uniforms, the wrong direction. But it'd be kind of like that where you'd be doing them good, you'd be doing you good, and, it would be something where collectors had never seen these players or these signatures before, and there might be some hidden demand. And again, I'd like to do this before we lose them all.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I know we do have autograph deals or have had autograph deals with a lot of those players who transitioned over to the NBA. And
right, but I'm talking about these guys didn't even transition over. If you were in the NBA for less than 3 years, you didn't get a pension. If you like Moses Malone transitioned over and spent another 18 years in the NBA, if he was still living, he'd be getting a full pension.
Yeah. I got you. No, it's great. That's a great point.
Tracy, one of the questions I had for you on licensing and trying to get that somebody who's not in your Panini Racing product is Jeff Gordon. I don't know if you know anything about that or any licensing or working on
he's
that.
Another guy. So you guys, Val and Logan probably know this. I think it was 2 years ago when we did the Fox set. You guys remember that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Val's got one.
And if I'm not mistaken, Jeff Gordon got in there through that deal, right? And so and I remember because that deal kind of came through Fox and not through, obviously, the driver's side. And we kind of had our product development team kind of up in arms a little bit, like coming over with pitchforks and wanting to torch us. And we're like, what's wrong? And they said, you guys have Jeff Gordon in there. And we're like, yeah, he's part of the Fox broadcast team or whatever. I know it created a ruckus unintentionally. So I know we have at least one Jeff Gordon card in our in our collection, and we could have more. So just stay tuned.
Okay.
That'd be awesome.
It would be awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. It's one. Look, we know we're painfully aware of those huge folks who can help drive product that we don't have. I mean, our people, like our people on the product development side, on the acquisition side, I mean, they spend their days and nights kind of gnashing their teeth, like thinking about that stuff. And so, don't ever think that we're not trying to get dudes or ladies or rookies or anybody. We are. It's just sometimes it's not. It takes a while to move the needle.
Yeah, I think you guys do a great job. So I mean, there's no complaints on this side.
Oh no, I know, and we. I don't think that are complaining at all. We're all in. We're all in this together, to quote the High School Musical #2, I think.
Let's put it this way, Tracy would understand something Dr. Jim used to say. Look, if you say Beckett sucks, so we'll change it to Panini sucks, we won't pay any attention to you. If you say Panini sucks because you don't have Jeff Gordon in the product, even though you know it, that's a specific complaint that's worth listening to.
Sure.
And that's something to bring up with any of the, since we have Tracy here, that's something to bring up. Tracy I guarantee will love to hear constructive criticism, complaints. And if you've got a specific issue about something you don't like in any Panini product and you want to use Tracy as your milieu to get it to Panini, that's fine, as long as it's specific and something more like then you guys are killing the hobby because. No, it's more like, hey, get Gordon. Why don't you have Gordon in it, or why don't you have Dale? Why don't you have Dale Senior in it? Those are legitimate questions to bring up, and as long as we do it that way, I guarantee you, Tracy's happy to answer or pass on the best of those questions in racing, in this case, to Tim Trout.
Absolutely, I do that a lot on social. Like, we don't always respond on social, but we're always listening on social, and we see the comments, we know what people are upset about, and the things that we can control and that are valid and we want to be better at, we're always going to listen. We're always going to pass those comments on to the right folks. So don't ever think that we're turning a deaf ear or a blind eye to anything, because we're not. We're watching. It's just we can't respond to everything, because then we stop having time to act because we're responding instead of acting. So, no, we listen, we see it all. I've been told personally some really nasty things over the years, which is fine. I'm fine with that. But if there's some constructive nature to the criticism, I can use that.
And remember, guys, like, as far as Panini or any of those other tops, whoever, like, if you're complaining about price hikes and whatever else, it's not coming from them. It's coming from, they're not charging different prices for what they're selling it to whoever. It's when it hits that next Steel City or whoever, or the Breakers or whoever it is, they're still getting it for their whatever, $100 a box or whatever the price is. They're just, it's when it hits the next spot, it's not these guys. So about pricing, it's not them.
And also remember, almost everybody at Panini has an idea of the market, and they try to build their products to be SRP. We'll call it SRP friendly. You're not going to get a win out of every box. I think everybody understands that. But they want to have something where you feel, as I say, feel good about getting the box of the product.
And that's funny you bring that up, Rich. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just saw a comment. $1,200 for a box of NBA hoops. Really? Was that Panini or distributors? That's distributors. That's not Panini.
So one of the things, like, I've had meaningful discussions with our product development teams on this very topic, and nobody gets a little bit more uneasy about what some of these products are selling for than the guys and gals who are building the products. Because, as Rich said, when you see a box of hoops sell for $1,200, Keith and David Porter and those guys didn't build that product with that number in mind. And so they start getting a little bit antsy, because that's just not what that product was supposed to sell for. But the market is in a crazy, crazy place right now, and you can't put words to it. Like, it defies anything any of us has probably ever seen. And we've all been, if you look at the screen, you got 6 of us. How many years total have we been in this industry, and how many times have we ever seen the market like it is right now? It's just bizarro world. And so my point is, our people who spend their livelihoods building these products, hoops 3 years ago was a $72 box, and a lot of people might have been unhappy with that, with what they got at $72.
Hang on. So Kevin Jones just said Panini can't clamp down on distributors charging these huge markups. We, as the buyers, control that pricing. When we go and clear the shelves out at all the retail stores and there's no retail product available, and you're going to try to your card store to buy it, whatever, we control what the prices are. It's not Panini. I mean, yes, the distributors are going to capitalize on as much as they can. It's a business. Everything is a business. Everybody's here to make money.
More profit.
But Panini is not charging more money to the distributors. It's what the distributors and the resellers and the breakers are doing as far as the price goes. Nobody else. So let's get that clear.
I mean, Jason worked for Steel City, so he can probably tell you firsthand what that's like.
Yeah.
I mean, with the Panini, there's the mat pricing. So I mean, don't you have that restriction of this is what? But Jeff is completely right. Like, we go every Friday to Walmart, and if you're not there 10 minutes after they open, everything is gone. So who is to blame here? you know, it's just if you're going to pay $1,200, then maybe don't complain about what you're buying. You know, you kind of have. I mean, if you're paying $1,200 for hoops, you kind of know what you're getting into, or at least know what your risk is. I mean, I think you would know that when it's $72. You know, so like Jeff said, we are to blame for the prices. It's kind of look in the mirror.
Right. It's just, I mean, the market's just crazy now, and it won't always be like this but
then people complain when stuff doesn't sell. So
exactly, it's like,
it's what do you want?
Yeah, right.
And
I mean, another ground.
Yeah, and another thing too, like I said, I also included the breakers. So all the card breakers out there, I know one card breaker in particular, and I'm not gonna call people out or not call people out, but I know one in particular that he gets that good price, like the price around where it's supposed to be, and he doesn't upsell. He got Prism, he got a box of Prism, and he ran a break for like what Prism breaks would have ran for a couple years ago. But most of your breakers out there are selling like one random team like $100 or $80 or whatever the price. It's just crazy. When you're buying into those breaks at those prices, and everybody is, that's just feeding the market. That's just driving the prices up and up and up and up and up. So just remember that.
Yeah, it's a look, and we're in uncharted waters, man. And man, it's like we talk about it a lot internally. We talk about it on shows like this, and we talk about it really anywhere. The amount of people coming out saying, man, I've been away from the industry for 10 years or 15 years, and now I can't get a box. We're like, yeah. I mean, my kid can't go to Target and get a box. No, it sucks, but it's just the market right now, right? And look, things will settle down at some point, but every time we think we've reached a new high, 2 weeks later we reach a new high, and it's like, holy crap. It's just a weird, fun time.
But there are ways around this. I mean, if you're lucky and have shows or stores nearby, maybe you can't afford the box, but the singles prices will probably end up being affordable. Go get single cards or team sets or something of your favorite teams or players until this mania settles back down. And then
you're right, Rich. I mean, I can't afford a box of Prism football, but I can go look for a KJ Hamler or Jerry Jeudy auto.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to spend $800 on a box of Prism hoping I get that. I mean, there are other ways to acquire some of these things that you want, but when there's money to be made, it's going to be chaos. And we've expressed our concern to the retail outlets, Target and Walmart, of, hey, we know it's an issue of things not making it to the shelves or things disappearing immediately after hitting shelves. But there's only so much we can do with Walmart and Target because they're not in the business of limiting sales of any of their products.
And they're actually consignment anyway through another company, MJ Holdings,
exactly right.
or whoever. So it's
exactly
not even
right.
like they don't actually own it; they just have it on their shelves in their store, right?
Exactly.
The fifth Beetle asked, "Is select basketball and football going to be retail this year?" You know,
I think there are retail components of both. I believe.
okay. I was going to say something too on what we were just talking about. Oh, one thing I was going to touch on too, but while we're on this topic is, if you are somebody that sells like singles or sells cards and you're complaining about the price hikes and whatever, it's kind of like a revert deal because your value on your singles are going up. If the prices of these products are higher and the boxes are higher, you're selling your cards, your singles, whatever you're selling should be selling for more. So you're making money if you're a seller selling your singles and your whatever as these prices are rise. So it's kind of a catch-22, right? So keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, and there's also an inherent cost that Panini has to pay these players. It's not like the old days, like when Topps would say, "Hey, Joe Player, here's a catalog that you can get a blender or a toaster for your image." It's not like that anymore. And there's a lot of money involved in this.
Well, I think the money is for the autographs and the relics. I mean, because they are playing the Players Association. And that unless there's somebody who's got a specific one-off deal, which does happen. I mean, back in the day, Earl Campbell had a one-off deal, which is why he's only on 79 cards, and then got cards after his career ended. But for the most part, there's just a contract. And I think Rich Muller posted it was like $3 million to the Players Association. So I'm going to quote that number in baseball only because it was published, but I don't even know if it's the right number or wrong number. And I want to stress that. But let's say that is the right number, but that's a blanket number then that Panini has to put into their budget for all their sports, for all their baseball products.
Well, if you want to have a really interesting conversation, talk to like when a Zion or Luka card sells for $600,000, and you have to explain to Zion or Lucas people that we don't see that $600,000. That's like. That's always a fun conversation to have. Like,
right?
They reach out to us like we sold that car for $600,000. We're like, we didn't sell for that.
No, I guarantee you that if you had sold the card for $600,000, you would make sure they got their share right up front.
Oh, that would be I would assume that would be part of the deal. But,
that would be part of the deal. I mean, to me that's a given. But all they see is what the card sells for. They don't understand how many levels it went through, that it probably went through a third-party grader, how many different levels it got through to get to that point. And that's not necessarily their job and their role in life to know every nook and cranny about the card market. They'll hear the 600,000. You're right. Their agent will call you and say, "Where's our money?"
Yeah, you're not paying me enough. But that is one of the benefits of the market being where it is right now. Is it is forcing a lot of the players and the athletes themselves to really educate themselves on what's going on right now, and you see them being more engaged, more interested, asking more like business type questions because it is it's kind of transfixed the globe, the U.S. for sure, and the globe really of where trading cards have.
There may be others, but Kevin Durant, among others, is in one of these groups doing the fractional ownerships.
Yeah, the boardroom breakers thing, right?
Right. I think he put 1.2 million in, I believe, or that was the number that was floated publicly. And so so you can tell he's very aware right now of the market.
Yeah, for sure.
Surprised to see more players doing such things either.
Yeah, no, I think you're going to see a lot more of that.
So, Tracy, one thing I was going to bring up is we've started to see it here in the Carolinas where, if you can see that, but like Target now is limiting effective February 8th due to high guest demand. There's a limit of 3 items per individual.
So it's varying everywhere. I hear 1, 2, 3. Now 3 I've heard. I usually hear 1 or 2 where it does limit them, but
that I think is a help. It's probably not a cure-all, but for the people that Tracy had come to you saying they can't get or find product for the kids or whatever. Not that maybe the parents can find it now, but
no, I think. Look, I think anything they can do to kind of police that and make for a better experience for more people, I'm all for it. I've seen things on social where limits don't work. Right? It's still all gone in the same amount of time. It's like I saw one kind of insinuation that the same person just hired 24 people to go get 2 boxes apiece and whatever. But at least they're trying, because I think they do see it as problematic, and more people who can get their hands on these products, the better it is for all of us. And so any action I think is good.
Yeah, it's not going to solve all the problems, but at least some of these big retailers are at least taking some steps to at least show they're trying to work on the issue.
Poor Logan. Take a look. Logan's getting the love right now.
He's getting love on.
My baby just woke up. She's been downstairs. I guess she just woke up.
Isn't there some race happening in like a couple weeks, or is that this weekend?
That's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
I know. Wasn't that supposed to be the main topic?
Yeah, it was supposed to be the main topic.
Well, we had the truck race last night.
So
we're an hour 20 in. We haven't even we talked a little on racing.
About
we did, but we didn't talk about the race.
So let me ask the race. Let me ask, since we have Tracy here, the race a slightly different way. Are there any NASCAR rookies that people are looking at this year?
Absolutely. I think probably Val and Logan know more about this, but this is a pretty good rookie class. I think what Val and Logan, you guys, I don't know if you would agree with this, but a lot of people are saying Christopher Bell could be Rookie of the Year. Do you guys get that sentiment, or do you think it's somebody else?
Who?
Christopher Bell?
It's not going to be Christopher Bell. He was running for Rookie of the Year last year with Cole Custer.
Was he in last year's?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cole Custer was Rookie there, right.
Okay. Who do y'all think? Because I don't even know. I know it's pretty deep class this year, though, isn't it?
It's Anthony Alfredo and Chase Briscoe in the Cup Series.
Okay.
But in the Truck Series, there's quite
a few. We know who it is in the Truck Series.
Well,
we know Yeah, she kind of wrecked last night, didn't she?
Yeah, she hit the wall last night.
But she was doing very well for most
of the race. She really was, yeah.
It was one of those things where she was trying to avoid an accident and had come down, and I think got loose and then crashed into the inside wall and pretty much pancaked the front. They were able to change tires and get her back out on the track. But she finished 24th, I believe. So out of a field, what is it, a 30, 40, 30? So she's won 1, 2, 3, 5 for Camping World Truck. Haley Deegan, Chris Wright, Chandler Smith, Chase Purdy, and Jason Havkar. But the rated rookies, there was actually I was watching it last night, and the winner of the first stage, he's actually one of the rated rookies. So I was like, I knew that name. I was like, why do I know that name?
Oh yeah,
but, yeah. But then in the Xfinity Series, you have Ryan Vargas, Sam Meyer, Josh Berry, Jordan Anderson, and Ty Gibbs.
Okay.
But so not every year do we have a rookie class like we had last year with Cole Custer, Christopher Bell, John Hunter Nemechek.
Byron part of this too, or no?
Was that?
Was William Byron part of last year's class too, or not?
No, he was previous year, I believe.
Okay.
But that's why I love that 2016 certified. You guys nailed it with that one with all those rookies in there.
Yeah, that one's loaded.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a different beast. The rookie card classes from NASCAR to other sports is so different because it's a lot of the NASCAR rookies don't have all this like pre-draft hype, right? And there's the hardcore NASCAR folks absolutely know who they are, but for a lot of folks that the wider audience doesn't know.
Some sound issues.
Am I muted?
No, but it sounds like you're like a robot, like we probably all do.
Yeah, you were Mr. Roboto there for a minute.
Yeah.
I got a dog. I got a dog falling up in here.
Hey, the dog just. Hey,
I'll leave the dog alone.
That's right.
I know. I'll leave the dog alone for 90 minutes. And
All right.
All right,
Bad.
that sounds like probably a good time to
End it.
Yeah.
Call it a show, guys.
Well, we went way over. Tracy, thank you so much for joining us today. Really enjoyed it. Hope all the viewers were able to get get some information, and got some questions answered. And of course, the rest of you guys, thanks for joining. I don't know if anybody got any parting words, Tracy.
thank y'all. It was an honor to be on with y'all.
It was awesome. Yeah.
Look forward to another opportunity whenever you guys will have me.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace wins the Daytona 500.
Hey, calm.
That's a hot sports opinion right there. I would love for that to be the case.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be huge.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'd love to
you're
get
here first.
I'd love to get all you guys too on sometime. I do a interview show. I'd love to get actually each and every one of you on at some point, but I'll try
Jeff.
to.
I'm always happy to be a guest. You know
Awesome.
that. So
Awesome.
Yeah, me too.
I'll DM you, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good, guys. Hey, I
Yeah,
appreciate
I'd love to do
it.
it.
Have a great
Good
weekend.
weekend, man.
All right,
Yeah.
guys,
Bye-bye.
I'm gonna roll the credits.
All right.
Thank you.
Roll. Yep.
Bye-bye.